Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon. It's my privilege to welcome you all to this industry symposium, which focuses on semaglutide as foundational therapy. Semaglutide has transformed the management of type 2 diabetes and obesity, with growing evidence supporting its benefit across cardiovascular, renal, and metabolic outcomes. Before we begin, it's an honor to welcome our esteemed chairpersons to the stage. Our first chairperson is Dr. Abbas Raza. Dr. Abbas Raza is past president ICE, PES, ACE Pakistan chapter and CEPIS, CEO Med Consultants with Lifetime Achievement Award PES and Laureate Award with a long list of accomplishments. Our second chairperson is Dr. A.H. Amir, a leading clinical endocrinologist. He was project director of extension of DTOC and Insulin for Life project, a KP government initiative, health initiative. He has many feathers in his cap. Our third chairperson is Dr. Asma Ahmed, consultant endocrinologist at Aga Khan University. We are delighted to have you with us today. I would now like to invite our esteemed speaker, who is a leading clinical endocrinologist. He holds a PhD in GLP-1 therapeutics from University of Western Australia and a postdoctorate from University of Oxford. He is a recipient of President's Pride of Performance and Tamgha Imtiaz. He's an author of 19 books. In addition, we all know him as an acclaimed sports ambassador, broadcaster. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Numan Niaz to the stage to give us an insight on semaglutide as foundational therapy.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim ji. Let me begin with the name of Allah, the most merciful and beneficent. It's an absolute pleasure to actually have Abbas Raza, Asma, and Dr. H. Amir on the chair. For me, they are the professionals, those who belong to the highest echelons of expertise. Such an august gathering, again, Professor Najmul Islam is here, and my evergreen friend, my travel friend is also here. A disclaimer that I have no financial and transactional arrangements with Getz Pharma is number one. Number two, a pun intended. I must have done about 7,000 live shows for all the international channels and the national channels, and I had been talking worldwide as a speaker, be it the ICC, hosting the presidents and the prime ministers. But this is for the first time in 28 years that I have been provided the platform on PES. So Abbas, you take it. And before I begin, this is the best platform to actually share my personal triumph. It was only 3 days ago that I was told that I have outlived my cancer. I'm now a cancer survivor and 5 years of remission completed. So I think now we can look forward and be very progressive. Now, semaglutide as a foundational therapy, of course, the best part is that we used to base the old paradigm is HbA1c as the singular endpoint glycemic control, insulin gold standard tha hamara escalations, progressive beta cell failure. Or we used to think that comorbidities ko manage karne ke liye we needed absolute sugar controls. Or we tried treating the CV, cardiovascular, renal, and hepatic comorbidities separately. Glucose lowering, probably hamara hypothesis hota tha, was equivalent to organ protection. But things have changed now. There is a paradigm shift, and we need to believe. We are the generation of Dianyls and Avendias and glucophage, and then we used to treat with the non-analog insulins diabetes. But the new matrix is totally different. Obviously, we all know it's about CKMD and diabesity. And cardiovascular, there's a high risk of heart failure, MACE and ASCVD, then CKD progression and albuminuria and RAS overlay. So adipose inflammation, we have to think about the oncological outcomes and the neurological dementia risk, etc. So there had to be a change. There needed to be a paradigm shift. Now, this is heart-rendering, disillusioning, and very, very concerning. 70% of us now sitting here, we are insulin resistant. And this is the Pakistani data. And 29.8% suffer from MASH. we are talking about us. We are talking about the Pakistanis. 14.9%, they have insulin resistance in the lean. So metabolic adiposity is also a reality in our population and sample size. 58% diabesity and 28.8% metabolic syndrome. 47.2% sarcopenic capacity. Now, this is again something which wakes us up. We need to contemplate better outcomes, and for that, we need to be conscientious and equally pragmatic. CKMD is not yet surveyed in Pakistan, so PMOS, okay, 26.7% of the young girls, they suffer from polyendocrine metabolic ovaries, and 31.4% is the prevalence rate of type 2 diabetes in Pakistan. So that's the background. Now, this is even more perverse. This is even more disillusioning. This is equally disheartening that our children, 32% are insulin resistant, and I'm talking between the ages of 6 and 19 years. That's a Pakistani data. And then 20 to 22% having metabolic syndrome, adolescents ranging between 13 and 19 years of age, and 3 to 44% insulin resistance in the lean, 30.8% diabetes, that is a youth onset, and 26.7% is polyendocrine metabolic syndrome. And onset of type 2 diabetes is no more at the end of the third decade. And you all will bail me out. I see patients 18 years, 20 years, 21 years suffering from type 2 diabetes. And unfortunately, this polyendocrine term shifting from polycis, it has again become controversial because of the lacking male phenotype of PMS. So this we all know that ovaries now, they are taken as a misnomer when we talk about polycystic ovarian syndrome. They went on to redesignate it at polyendocrine metabolic, but now they say that the relatives, the kins, the siblings of girls and women suffering from polycystic disease, their male counterparts, they have androgenic metabolic excess derangements. So that is the reason it has become controversial. And now let's see whether this name is sustainable or not. How, okay, I'll be very frank, I've been using off-label in PMOS, this semaglutide, and I have about 815 patients with some brilliant results. And probably it is high time we are at the cusp that this will soon be indicated for PMOS as well, these GLP-1 receptor agonists. But off-label, how do they work? Neurohypothalamic GLP-1 agonism, and then metabolic incretin-mediated insulin reduction, then hormonal theca cell androgen suppression, coronal gut-brain, coronal biological axis, and reproductive ovulatory axis restoration. So I think we need to actually institute GLP-1s in PMS. Now, from insulin-centric to GLP-1, obviously, we had oral antidiabetics. They had their own problems, weight gains, hypoglycemias, and then came the SGLT2s, and we thought that it was revolutionary. It is still there, but now marginally clinically utilized for CKDs and advanced renal disease. But empagliflozin and these SGLT2s, they are, I'm so sorry, I was talking about DP before. So SGLT2s are absolutely spectacular, and empagliflozin probably is the mainstream drug for all of us. So semaglutide, why it is going to exterminate insulin. 81 to 83% patients on basal insulin, they had to be shifted, and it had to be weaned off when you initiated GLP-1s and this semaglutide. And 24 to 36 months for post-GLP-1 RA initiation, 39% of the patients, they had to have either reduced dose of insulin or we had to stop insulin. But now the question is that why we had to redraw diabetes care. Weight became modifiable. This is cardinal. Hard outcomes, not surrogates. Safety without hypoglycemia, and disease modification. So disease modification is the real essence of this new world of GLP-1 receptor agonists. Then we redefined obesity. Preclinical obesity, I personally feel this is the time in our population with such high insulin resistance that this risk state should be marginalized. And this is the time when you should initiate active therapies. Yes, lifestyle modifications, they remain foundational. But if we have such a wonderful molecule with us in our armory, why not that we should actually initiate during the preclinical obesity phase? Then, of course, once there is obesity, there's obesity, and now it is beyond BMI. I see many patients metabolic obesity with lean MASH, and they are becoming a greater concern and enigma and a greater challenge to manage. So this is an incretin era. Yes, we have to believe that we have outlived the olden paradigms and now we have moved on. The South Asian paradox is of danger at a normal weight. So BMI of 23 should ring alarm bells. And BMI of 25, probably the time to start and initiate therapy. That we are talking about our population. So insulin resistance at normal weight. I get children, they are lean, which is hard to believe, and they have a HOMA-IR of 28 and 30. So that is quite concerning. So early warning, atherogenic load and systemic drain. Now, unfortunately, ironically and regrettably for every diabetic, कभी हम cost का सोचते हैं, कभी हम patient की accessibility का सोचते हैं, and हम एक fasting sugar कराते हैं, 2 hour postprandial कराते हैं, एक HbA1c करवा लेते हैं, बहुत हो गया तो renal function test करवा लिया, serum cholesterol lipid profile. Why not कि अब mandated होना चाहिए fasting insulin and HOMA-IR. There can be an argument that fasting insulin levels can tell you the insulin resistance. You can calculate on that, but quantify आप कैसे करेंगे? That had to come through HOMA-IR. So this is high time that we need to do that. And then of course, ApoB and lipoprotein A, they are being done in Islamabad. I get in certain population, but अभी मैं समझता हूँ कि थोड़ा सा हमारे सेटअप में शायद फ्राउलेस होगा क्योंकि हमें कॉस्ट को भी देखना है और हमें इम्पैक्ट को भी देखना है. But high sensitivity CRP is essential and integral because it is all pro-inflammatory. Obesity, perimenopausal, postmenopausal, you just name it, PMS, and itself, it's about inflammation. Blood pressure. I was shocked the other day. I was going through the literature, and there was a study in JAMA from Karachi that was like 7 to 12 years of children. 12% of them, they had hypertension when they were checked for the blood pressures. That is, I'm talking about our population. So probably high time. Vitamin D बहुत essential है because ये repletion supports insulin sensitivity. So that is also integral. Testosterone, total and free testosterone in males is again, it worsens the resistance if it's low. Again, it is the essence of being a male. So that is how we have to go about it. Now, why semaglutide? I have always preferred semaglutide over tirzepatide. This is a long haul, this is an argument, and half of you can stand up and say that tirzepatide is a better molecule, it's a double incretin. Okay, fine, accept it. It's not a bad molecule at all. But I personally feel the drug effect of semaglutide, which includes molecule-specific trials like SELECT, FLOW, and ASCENS. Then you have heterogeneity within the class, then early weight-independent onset, and consistency across organs. I personally believe that semaglutide is still very superior in our settings with our population. So now, semaglutide's drug effect, not the class effect versus tirzepatide. Of course, tirzepatide is a very superior molecule when it comes to HbA1c reduction, when it comes to weight. But now weight part is like slightly controversial after the approval of 7.2 milligram of semaglutide, which tends to reduce 20.7% of weight as compared to 22% or 22.5% of tirzepatide. But still, there is a promising data for tirzepatide about cardiovascular and renal, but it is still not out. So probably head-to-head efficacy cap will favor semaglutide. So both are different molecular origins, so you just can't compare the two. However, can GLP-1 double or triple incretin or retatrutide right around the corner replace analog insulins? Well, 1 in 3 stopped insulin entirely after starting weekly semaglutide. And 75% of basal bolus patients discontinued their bolus insulin. But insulin will never go away because you need it in type 1 diabetes, LADA, and insulinopenic states, depending on exogenous insulin, and must never be withdrawn. The dual agonist complexity premium of tirzepatide. I hope many of you must be knowing that impurities as epitopes are far more in this molecule as compared to semaglutide. Dual binding geometry is very complex, and a longer hybrid chain is required in the synthetically produced double incretin. So, head-to-head evidence and open questions, of course, semaglutide loses to tirzepatide when it comes to weight loss, and then tirzepatide strengths are weight and HbA1c and better metabolic impact. But the dose disparity critique, which is now going to be the future of our clinical therapeutics, and it is going to be very tricky with tirzepatide, but it is going to be very, very easy and convincing with semaglutide. And if some of you must be knowing that the GIP impact is maximum 30 to 47% in double incretin. So technically it is also a GLP-1 extrapotentiated receptor agonist, this tirzepatide. So the additional strengths for semaglutide is now the dosing flexibility. Now this is very important. क्यों? I personally feel जैसा हमारी population है, और जिस तरह हमारा IR मैं तो इसको एंडेमिक कह रहा हूँ इंसुलिन रेजिस्टेंस को, और जो हमारी डाइटरी इंडिस्क्रेशंस हैं, जो कल्चरली हम डाइट लेते हैं पॉलीसैचुरेटेड फैट्स, सो एट द एंड ऑफ द डे हमें लॉन्ग टर्म इसकी थेरेपी करनी पड़ेगी विद सेमाग्लूटाइड एंड GLP-1s. अब जब हमने लॉन्ग टर्म करना है तो हमें सबसे पहले कॉस्ट को देखना होगा, हमें साइड इफेक्ट प्रोफाइल को देखना होगा, हमें सार्कोपीनिया को देखना होगा विद द GLP-1 स्ट्रेंथ ट्रेनिंग लाइफस्टाइल मॉडिफिकेशन का हिस्सा. But then low dose GLP-1s may be the answer to all queries. Why? It is now again becoming very evident that 3 months after stopping the GLP-1s, the risk marginalization again starts to escalate, and weight also starts coming back. Go ke 2 saal ka data to hai iska. So now the dose spectrum, they are using 0.05 and 0.125 milligram weekly as maintenance dosages, but they are too low probably in our population, not approved, but 0.5 to 2 milligram, you can always use it for longer duration. So long-term safety and organ protection best goes with semaglutide because of the renal outcomes, the FLOW trial, the MASH resolution, the cardiovascular risk reduction that SUSTAIN 6 trial, tolerability at scale, and of course, weight loss is maintained. So now, what we have to do in Pakistan, ये सारे बैठे हुए हैं जी, the stakeholders, those who can play a role. I personally feel that we are now, the burden is about 4 overlapping epidemics. ये एक reality है हमारी. It's our reality, it's our truth. Surveillance हमारा जो है वो बिल्कुल फारिग है. हमारा data जो है वो at times, unfortunately, ironically and regrettably, कई दफ़ा फज्ड होता है, कई दफ़ा कंप्लीट नहीं होता. हम प्रोसेस ड्रिवन नहीं हैं, हम डाटा ड्रिवन नहीं हैं, और हमारी पॉलिसी और फाइनेंसिंग गैप्स जो हैं ये वेज बहुत बड़ी होती जा रही. लेकिन जो आपके यूथ का पॉपुलेशन है, जो आपके पास डाटा है, जो आपके यूथ ने आगे को मॉर्बिड यूथ चाहते हैं तो वेरी वेल डन, इसी तरह चलते जाते हैं, स्टेटस को मेंटेन कर लेते हैं. लेकिन वी हैव टू डू समथिंग, एंड फॉर दैट हमें यूनिफाइड स्क्रीनिंग करानी होगी. Not siloid testing, equitable diagnostic access होनी चाहिए, integrated policy framework होना चाहिए. हम अगर as stakeholders and की हम लोग जो है impact नहीं create कर सकते तो I think आपका भी failure है, हमारा भी failure है, मेरा भी failure है. But time has come, we have to stand up. कुछ तो हमें करना पड़ेगा. Now this is very interesting जी, and it makes me slightly controversial as well. biologic, biosimilar, and biocopies. I'm a man for the designers. I'm a man for the patent. Or Abbas must be knowing that I always prescribed patent molecules and जो originals आते हैं, originators जो हैं. And I always thought, unfortunately, एक तो गेट्स की काफ़ी एक हमाकत भी थी कि they had a biosimilar in their armory, but they never launched it like a biosimilar. They never talked about it. They never shared the data and anything. So I always thought it was all about biocopies. I have been there talking that for me, Ozempic was the only semaglutide in Pakistan. I was the one who used to say that using biocopies is like driving a car on a motorway at 450 kilometers per hour with your eyes closed and sunshades on. Then why this shift now? Yes, I have become more flexible for certain reasons. Number one, biocopies, they have no place in any mainstream therapeutics because 63% ADA, that is your antigen जो इसका negative implications हैं ADA की. And then biosimilars, obviously a little tricky, लेकिन आपको एक process के through आना है, and that has to be done. बाकी patent पे originators में तो कोई बात है नहीं, लेकिन cost की जब बात आई number one, जब population मैंने देखी कितनी, फिर ये जो adolescent में इसका approval हो गया, फिर ये जो micro dosing की बात आ गई, PMOS में अपने लड़कियों में बच्चियों में अगर आपने use करना है, so then I thought 120,000 plus patients now, they are on locally manufactured semaglutide. So at the end of the day, ठीक है कि हम process driven नहीं है, reporting हमारी ठीक नहीं है, back end पे मसाइल हैं, but still कोई major adverse effect कहीं report नहीं आया, कोई news item नहीं बना. So at the end of the day, cost wins and overrides the patents. So now this is very interesting, जी. We always thought that semaglutide या ये biologics हैं, they are not biologics, they are biosynthetics. Biologic was only एक LP glutide थी which had to be withdrawn because of the financial concerns, and then of course then dulaglutide was the actual biologic. अच्छा मजे की बात यह है कि biosynthetic जो है वो ज़्यादा integral है to us. Biosynthetic is the better outcome है is manufacturing की. So biologic में जो है वो gene encoding GLP-1 analog FC domain inserted into CHO जो है cell line होती है. Whereas biosynthetic में ये core peptide backbone produce तो recombinant तरीके से ही कर रहे हैं even semaglutide में, but उसमें yeast या E. coli use हो रहा है, but chemically modified post translationally to extend half-life. Half-life और दूसरा cost effective ये बन जाता है. But then we have fully synthetic also. तो इनकी अपनी connotations हैं. जो synthetic अगर आप proper, क्योंकि ये बहुत ही मुश्किल processes हैं, costly processes हैं, probably this is the reason कि जितने भी synthetic patent molecules हैं, they are not cheap. So उसमें जो problem ये अगर हम locally produce कर रहे होंगे, तो इसमें जो हमारे lab solvents use होते हैं, they have been reported to be genotoxic rather than to be immunotoxic. All GLP-1s, they have their immunotoxic part. But this is a bit of concern. But वैसे ये बहुत ही sustainable molecule है अगर आप करें. So has its benefits right in front of you. कि low fully human GLP जो है इसका sequence biologic में interestingly biosynthetic semaglutide और liraglutide का जो ADA ratio है वो best है. So that is the best immunogenicity profile. So that is for you, and exenatide, of course, was fully synthetic, 63% toxicity थी, and probably this is the reason first generation था GLP and it was taken out. Now this is Novo Nordisk, even in Pakistan, they have the originator, biosynthetic semaglutide. Now they also have Wegovy, 2.4 milligrams. Of course, I will stand by patents, but when I see the larger picture and the landscape, then I personally feel कि इनका रोल बड़ा marginal होता जाएगा patents का. हमारे US rupee dollar disparity, plus of course हमारी inflation, rate of inflation, poverty, or unfortunately absence of national health structure. So at the end of the day, हमें कोई options ढूंढने थे जो कि बायोसिमिलर में मिलेंगे. सो गेट्स फार्मा का जो ये है सेम्पी इज अ बायोसिमिलर, और उसके बाद BF Biosciences, Ferroscience, they had come up with a good product, but that is a synthetic peptide. And then of course we have oral generic biocopies जो कि प्रोड्यूस की हुई हैं, गेट्स ने भी और सर्ल ने भी probably. So now सेम्पीजी गेट्स फार्मा का एक चीज़ बड़ी क्लियर करनी थी कि ये आपके सामने है, जो इन्होंने कभी प्रमोट नहीं किया, कि इसके सेम्पी इज़ अ बायोसिमिलर, दैट इज़ अ प्रूवन फैक्ट, और एक्सप्लिसिटली क्लासिफाइड एज अ बायोसिमिलर इन ऑल कंपनी डिस्क्लोजर्स. रेगुलेटरी कैवियाट्स जो इनके हैं उसमें ये है कि जहाँ से ये बनाते हैं, जो इनका सोर्स है, दैट हैज़ यूड्रा CT एंड EMA अप्रूवल, बट इनका अपना नहीं है, which they are expecting that it will be arriving by November 2026. Yes, RDNA manufacturing है इनकी. Comparative PK data versus Ozempic एक study है जो कि अब आप आगे देखेंगे. तो that is reference URL citation invalid, और ये गवर्नमेंट वाले में, इसमें अगर आप जाके देखें तो इनकी पब्लिकेशन है जो कि comparative study of efficacy and safety of semaglutide injection in the treatment of type 2 diabetes. जस्ट एंडिंग जी, प्री फिल सिरिंज के अगर फायदे हैं तो वी डोंट हैव टू फॉरगेट दैट रिस्क भी बहुत ज़्यादा है. सो प्री फिल में आपकी डोज सेफ्टी में नो मैकेनिकल सेफ गार्ड, देन कंटेनर क्लोजर में स्टेबिलिटी रिस्क आ जाते हैं बिकॉज सिलिकॉन ऑयल यूज हो रहा होता है, देन स्ट्रक्चरल आइडेंटिटी अनकन्फर्म्ड हो जाती है, एंड ऑफ कोर्स पेशेंट की यूजेबिलिटी में, प्रेफरेंस में और एडहेरेंस में भी थोड़ा फर्क आता है, जो एक नीडल फोबिया होता है. फायदे भी हैं, यूनिट डोज एक्यूरेसी है, स्टेरिलिटी अगर हो, नीडल हैंडलिंग प्रॉपर हो जाती. द इकोनॉमिक्स, द चीपेस्ट semaglutide at this very moment in Pakistan is Sempi, 4,000 for 0.5 and 1 mg for 0.25 and 0.5 mg for 4,000 rupees for 6 weeks, and 1 mg is for 8,000 a month. 27 से 60,000 पेटेंट का आपको लगेगा मंथली. सो 50 to 80% प्राइस रिडक्शन जो है, दैट शुड encourage us to use certain cheaper molecules. Or semaglutide for me is Brian Lara of GLP-1s, and for me tirzepatide is just Azhar Ali with the triple century. Thank you very much. The absolute a pleasure.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an insightful presentation. I would now like to request our worthy chairs to give their valuable comments.
Thank you very much, Noman. Where have you disappeared? Is he still here? Right, right. No, yeah, no. I just wanted to make sure. That's all. That's all. So thank you very much, Noman, for a very balanced presentation. I will not give too much emphasis on what you have said because it was all very clear. But I think a couple of points which you have raised, and I think very valid. I think we talked about the diabetes, time and again, and we failed. We literally failed to prevent it. So I think we can still talk about it, but I think preventing diabetes in our setup with our settings, very difficult. It's not realistic. Now we are talking about obesity, and that's another issue. And I think I hate to say that, but probably we'll be failing in that as well. So I think it's a high time that whatever we have, we should get over it, and we should start using the products which are there to prevent the complications. Because in obesity, in diabetes, it's not the disease itself, it's the complications related. So you've got a double burden, and we need to start working on that. I think that discussion of biosimilar research, that has gone out of the window for me, because we practically have seen the results of these products doing very well. So I think there is a regulatory body who looks into that, which is DRAP. They have done it, and many products which come through the DRAP. That is not our job to look into that. But yes, we need to know what is biosimilar, what is biocopy, and so on and so forth. So I think what is lacking and what is important and what is always at the back of my mind when I'm using the product is short-term complications and long-term complications. The researcher has got that. We don't. And I think it is for us, it is for PS to look into that positively. Lots of us are using it. I think collecting our own, maybe, 50 patients each data and collating it and gets short-term data and then long-term data. I think that will give us a very good confidence in these products because this is coming all over the world since the patent is gone. Our neighboring countries have got plenty of molecules, and so has got a US and so on and so forth. So I think we just have to accept it. We just get on with it and look for the data, collect the data. That will give us a backing nationally and internationally. That's from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Noman, for a very, comprehensive presentation. And congratulations when you talked about your, health as well. So game on hai. So I have a different perspective, actually, So increase accessibility in a country like Pakistan, which is a developing country, LMIC, we have to be very careful because there is extra burden on physicians as well. So we always, and we had this conversation yesterday too, that we are talking about ki kitne patients hain, numbers. I know that from industry point of view, it's very important that how many you are using, GLP-1 or, dual therapy in our population. But something which is very important, कि किनको लिखी जा रही है, whether they kind of fulfill the criteria, side effect profile, real world evidence. So I think it is very important because मुझे लगता है कि there's extra burden on us, as physician too. And if people who are writing it, they are not trained to write it, consequences का नहीं पता है, जो लोग ले रहे हैं, they don't know about the side effects. So I think we are not doing a good job. Because even if we look at, ADA, जो last data present हुआ था, it highlights, which showed, that 50% of the people who were started on GLP-1, they stopped it within first year of therapy. So that should not be our aim because हमें पता है कि this is a chronic disease. It's just like hypertension, diabetes. So we don't talk about stopping treatment, within a 1 year of treatment because obviously when you stop treatment, the weight loss effect will fade. The cardiometabolic जो आपके benefits से वो चले जाएंगे. So we have to talk about long term. And it's not just the price thing, because we are talking about price, which is big thing, कि we have great accessibility now, लेकिन we have to talk about a lot of things. Whenever we prescribe it, it's not just a prescription which we are giving to our patients, it's a comprehensive care plan. That people are told, कि किस तरह से लेनी है, क्या-क्या चीज़ें हैं जो आपने वो करनी है. So for me, it's not a weight loss medication, it's a metabolic path, which is important. Thank you.
Thank you. We didn't rehearse this, so but I think it comes back perfectly timed because Amir talked about the importance of the GLP-1 in our population, and obviously then there was a discussion on the need for primer. And Oman, I always take notes when you're speaking because that helps me present better next time. So a wonderful presentation. I'll try to finish the conversation with. Because honestly speaking, if you look at prescription trends now, I as an endocrinologist, I would wish that the endocrinologists were the most people writing it, followed by probably our general physicians and then followed by our other colleagues, specialists. But I think the pyramid is upside down. The most prescriptions are coming from our mohalle wali hair cutter, which actually people come to me for a second opinion from my hairdresser that who says कि आपकी जानने वाले जहाँ से बाप बाल कटाते हैं वहाँ से उन्होंने कहा था हम ये इस्तेमाल कर लें. Before I started, I said मैंने कहा किसी और से भी पूछ लेते हैं. So I'm one of those किसी और in the paradigm of starting GLP. I'm not an expert at all. So for being a kisi aur, I would like to say that today, if I give you my perspective on GLP-1s, how we need to know, we have 3 competitions and we have 2 winners. Cardiovascular risk, cardiovascular disease, patient with cardiovascular disease, semaglutide is a winner because of the long-standing data and the clinical studies. If I see someone with a cardiovascular disease, semaglutide is a clear-cut winner. So if you're seeing a diabetic who has a cardiovascular disease, semaglutide is a winner as far as which medication should be using. If you look at the weight reduction and other fatty liver disease is another, tirzepatide is the winner because you have a better outcomes, better weight reduction, better A1C reduction with the tirzepatide as compared to the semaglutide. Finally, not the least, if you look at the cost war of it at currently, and again, I'm not talking about tomorrow, as I was just looking at 50% reduction from on Sempi and get 1 pen and get buy 2 pens and get 3 pens free for most of the organizations. So again, today, if you look at head to head, semaglutide is a winner because it's more cost effective. If you compare milligram to milligram, semaglutide has a less cost associated with it at this time. And even if you compare the efficacy of it, so if I put kilograms with the amount spent on it, semaglutide causes less weight overall. But if you look at the rupee to weight loss, I think semaglutide is a winner right now. This can change tomorrow, and I could be just biting my own words for saying this. But so we need to look at who's the winner as far as this. So cardiovascular semaglutide, weight, A1C reduction, tirzepatide, and cost right now semaglutide. So it's your choice what to write and what to write. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our worthy chairs for the valuable remarks. With this, we conclude this session, and thank you so much for your active participation. We have 2 announcements to make. First, there's lunch. Lunch has been arranged in Chinar Hall. And second, we'll be meeting up at 3:45 p.m. for the 5K Live Lighter Walk by PES in collaboration with Novo Nordisk. We'll also be joined by honorable guest, the Ambassador of Denmark. Please be gathered in the hotel lobby at 4 p.m. to start this activity. Thank you so much.